What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here. So a pretty good day in the markets today. The S&P and the NASDAQ went up 0.8%. The Dow went up 0.9%. The Russell 2000 broke even. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down some technicals, going over some weird action I'm seeing right now, and I want to talk to you all about some stocks I'm watching and in general where my head is at as a trader, as an investor. So if you all find value, hit the like button, subscribe, make sure to go down below, join the Strive Smart Discord chat, the Facebook group. You might as well get 2 stocks free from WeBull. Those are valued up to $1,600 with a $100 deposit. And if you all want to support the channel a bit further, get exclusive perks, check out my Patreon. All of those are linked right down below. So let's get into it. You guys can see SPY had one heck of a day. It opened up a little bit under 416, dropped to about 413 at 10:20 a.m. here on the East Coast, and then it had a rally for the rest of the day pretty much, right? From 413 all the way to 419.07, and now we're up a little bit in the aftermarket hours, and you guys can see here on the 4-hour chart, it looks like the uptrend's continuing. We broke above the EMA, the 50 SMA, we held above the 180 SMA on this time frame, and on the hourly chart, you guys can see it as well. We're above both moving averages. We're seeing a golden cross. The EMA is crossing above the 180 SMA, and who knows, if this price action continues, we might get the 50 SMA above the 180 SMA as well, which is another golden cross. So this could signal that maybe it's not sell in May and go away, or maybe they're done selling, or at least they've transitioned, and by they I mean the big boys, the hedge funds. And by the way, I have a video coming out on Saturday, 2 ways that hedge funds manipulate the markets and stocks themselves, which is a must-watch video. So stay tuned for that. That's coming out on Saturday, so subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. And guys, I mean, they're selling out. A lot of these, the big boys, the hedge funds, they're selling out of the tech names. There's a reason why these higher multiple, these high growth stocks, they've been suffering the past couple of months. It's because they've done so well in the past couple of months prior to that, and quite frankly, the year prior to that. I mean, look at some of these stocks. I don't want to pinpoint any individual one, but let's say Penn, P-E-N-N, and we'll talk about this one later because they just reported earnings. DraftKings is dropping as well. We'll talk about DraftKings later in this video, but look, this is just a point I'm trying to make. This stock, for example, is one of those high-flying growth, high-multiple stocks that did very well in 2020. I mean, a year ago, the stock was $15. I mean, that's crazy, and it went all the way to 140, and look, that was back in the middle of March. That was 2 months ago. Ever since then, 140, it's dropped about 40-50%, more like 40%, to about $80-$83 where it is right now. So what I'm trying to say is there's not crazy manipulation going on right now necessarily, but there's a lot of rotation. There's a lot of rotation out of these high growth stocks into more cyclical stocks that do well throughout inflation. Let's be honest. I mean, look, we're seeing gold stocks go up, GOLD. We'll talk about that later in this video. We've seen oil stocks, energy stocks crush it. Banks have been doing very well. So now there's a lot of these high growth tech stocks that have been down the toilet these past couple of months, and it's going to remain like that until we get that rotation of money yet again, or until the big boys, whenever that is, and it's going to come, trust me, it's going to remain like this until they start to buy back into the names like DraftKings, into the names like Pinterest, Roku, Zoom, Uber, maybe not Uber, but Tesla, the EVs again. It's gonna happen, but we don't know when there's going to be another big rotation or whenever the big flow of money is going to come back in. And what we can do as retail investors, well, we have to try and beat Wall Street at their own game, which is no hard task. Oops, I meant to say it's no easy task to beat Wall Street. Back to the video. But if we can get in before this big next wave, which if you have cash, I mean, that's what you can do. You have the opportunity to buy. That's why I always say, guys, have cash on the sidelines. If you have this cash and you're patient, you might be able to pick up some cheap names that once the big money starts flowing back into it again, again, which will happen, you're going to be on for the ride, right? So that is a very simple way to look at it and understand what is going on right now. And we're seeing this rotation. And yeah, who knows how long it's going to last, but as of now, it's what's going on now because there's fear of inflation. And looking at QQQ, you guys can see this one also looks like, just like SPY, it looks like the uptrend is continuing, but it hasn't quite yet broken out like SPY because, like I said, the tech names have been hit a bit harder. So this one is still under the moving averages on the 4-hour chart. It is trying a double bottom. You guys can see that at about 326. It is above the 50 SMA here on the hourly chart, but still it's under 335. That's a big resistance, and the 180 moving average. So until QQQ, let's say, breaks 335, the bears are still in charge. And look at this. Gold had one heck of a day today, and this is the precious metal itself, not Barrick Gold, which we'll talk about here in a second, right? Barrick Gold, the ticker is GOLD, so sometimes people mistake that in terms of what I'm talking about. In this case, we're talking about the precious metal, and I've called this out, right? We saw the break above 1760. We had the line, the resistance drawn out at 1790, and I called that out as well. I told you guys if 1790 breaks, 1850 is next, and today we had an explosive day of $30 an ounce, and it looks like we're going to 1850, guys. That's what I'm seeing, at least, right? And silver had one heck of a day today as well, up 3.5%. We called out the breakout above 2670. Now we're on our way, well on our way to $28, and you guys know SLV's been one that I've been in, which is an ETF that tracks the price of silver, and this one is finally printing me some money, guys, and that is exactly why I was buying SLV weeks and weeks ago when, quite frankly, some of you all might have asked yourselves, why is he doing that? That doesn't make sense. This is why I was doing it, because I saw inflation. Many of you guys did as well. And now in the past couple of weeks, a lot more people have been talking about it. And that's kind of how you beat Wall Street to their own game, in a sense. You have to be in before there's a big mainstream adoption or before there's a lot of hype around it. If you're getting into something when there's a ton of hype, like Dogecoin, for example, which, by the way, I did mess around and I bought $35 of Dogecoin today. I opened up my Robinhood account for the first time in months, and I had some money there, $50. So I was like, why not? Let me buy Dogecoin. But I'm probably going to lose a lot of money on Dogecoin. And that's my point. You know, if you get into something super late, and I'm not saying Dogecoin's late. Who knows? It could go to $1 plus, but it could very well be late. And I might lose my money. I might lose all my money. And I'm okay with that because honestly, guys, $35, who cares at the end of the day for $35? I mean, I'm fine losing that. So what do you guys think on everything we've talked about in this portion of the video? I'd love to know. Let me know down below in the comment section. And let's get into some stocks now. AMC, they reported earnings. They did negative $1.42 versus negative $1.26 estimated. So that missed in terms of EPS, and revenue also missed, $147.4 million versus $153.6 million. So double miss for AMC. The stock's not doing much. In fact, it's actually up 8 cents right now after hours. So I guess this earnings report wasn't great, obviously, so the stock's not moving up, but it wasn't bad enough to dump the stock, which I guess is a good sign in itself. So maybe we get some sort of rally here. You know, the market's been weird. I mean, we've seen these tech names report good earnings and the stocks are still going down. Well, what if AMC did bad and the stock goes up? That might happen with the market logic that we're seeing right now. So watch out for $9 to hold. Maybe we get a move towards 10, 10.50, right around these moving averages on the 4-hour chart. Maybe above that to $11. You know, this is where we could be going. And we saw earlier in the video, like I said, Penn, they just reported earnings. I believe it was this morning. They did EPS of 55 cents versus 29 cents estimated. Revenue came in at $1.27 billion versus $1.14 billion estimated. So perfect example. They had a double beat. The stock dropped 8%. AMC didn't do well with earnings, but the stock's up 8 cents after hours, which doesn't make any sense. And this goes back to what I said earlier. You know, these stocks did so well in 2020. All that growth is pretty much baked into the stock's price, because the stock market is a forward-looking vehicle. It's not pricing in today's numbers only. It's pricing in years into the future, depending on what stock you're looking at. You know, some stocks that are super overvalued, they're probably pricing in like 15 years of growth ahead of us. But there's some stocks, if you get them at a cheap price, maybe they're not pricing in really much of anything in the future, and that's when you want to buy. So at this point in time with Penn, guys, I'm not looking to buy quite yet. It's down 42%. And yeah, I mean, if it gets down to the 50s, 60s, 70s somehow, that is going to start opening up as a very interesting opportunity. And DKNG, which is one I do own, and another reason why I'm probably not going to buy Penn, because I own DKNG and I own GNOG, which didn't do that bad at all today, only down 3%. But DraftKings went down 8%. This thing got slammed. It broke the uptrend. Today. We actually took out the low from a couple days ago. We held 53 a couple days ago. We hit 50 today, and I've been buying this thing a little bit in the high 50s, 57 roughly is where I bought in, and I'm being very patient with it. They report earnings tomorrow. I have a lot of capital on the side for this stock. I want to buy more. I'm just waiting to see what these numbers are like. Maybe we get another drop like when Penn just reported earnings. That stock dropped. Maybe DraftKings somehow gets into the 40s. If so, I'll probably double up my position, maybe even add way more than that just to bring my average cost down a good chunk. So DraftKings, I am not losing faith whatsoever. If anything, I'm getting more excited as the stock gets lower, and that's what you guys have to train yourselves to do. I mean, obviously, depending on your strategy, but if you're a swing trader, if you're somebody that wants to hold for a couple months, or of course a long-term investor especially, you want to see stocks go down, and you want to be able to pick them up at lower prices. So I'm excited about that with DraftKings here, guys. The next big support, I'd say, is 50, so maybe we get a relief rally at about $50. That was a low point back in the end of January. If 50 somehow broke, which I'd be pretty surprised if it did, considering we're super oversold right now and we had such a big dump off today alone, I'm leaning more towards the relief rally rather than a further dump off. But let's say it does dump off further, breaks 50, we could end up going 46. That's another target. That was the low from back in the beginning of December, maybe 43 even, which I mean, I would be shocked if it got to 43. That was the low from the beginning of January. So that's some analysis on DraftKings, GOLD, and GDX. I don't have to talk too much about these. We've mentioned these a ton. I've told you guys many times that I've been buying Barrick Gold. GOLD is the ticker. You guys in my Patreon get all my buy and sell alerts, all my call outs real time. And I told you all I'm buying GOLD. Started buying at $19. Now we're above $23. In fact, we're in the middle of $23, and this is a great way to play gold, a great way to play inflation. And what are we seeing right now? Inflation, right? And we covered earlier in the video what are my thoughts on gold and what's going on right now. I really think gold and silver, they're finally catching up. They got hit hard. They were stagnant for 6 months, 8 months, and I really feel like this is just the beginning of the rally. That's my honest opinion. And as of now, I mean, look, GOLD broke the wedge. I think it could end up going mid to high 20s, no problem. And we had GDX break above. Look at this, guys. Well, it peaked a little bit above 37, and if we get above 37, which I believe we will, I'm thinking $39, $40 is where GDX would go. And by the way, GDX is a gold miners ETF, and another one I'm looking at, which is a gold miner stock, is NEM, right? NEM went up 3% today. It broke above $65, $66, so I think this could end up going 69, followed by 70 plus. So these are a couple of gold stocks I'm looking at right now. Roku is another one that didn't do so well during the day. It went down 6.5%, but now after hours, it gained back all of those losses pretty much. Kudos to Roku, guys. Look at that. It's up about 10% after hours. No, a little bit less than that, 7%. And they did EPS of 54 cents versus negative 15 cents estimated. Revenue came in at $574.18 million versus $490.56 million estimated. So a double beat for Roku. Very nice EPS there. They were expecting, the analysts were, a negative 15-cent EPS. So they thought Roku was going to lose money. Roku came in and said, nah, we're going to make a profit, guys. 54 cents EPS. Awesome. And the guidance, what's the Q2 guidance here? Is it up? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's up. Roku sees Q2 2021 revenue of $610 to $620 million versus the $549 million. So nice guide up for revenue. Kudos to anybody in Roku. If you're in a bunch of tech names, you know, those have not been doing well. And trust me, I feel your pain. So if you're in Roku, which I'm not, but if you're in Roku, you're up right now. You're making some money after hours, which again, kudos to you for that. And we got Peloton up after hours as well. What do you know? This stock got slammed very hard recently. And I mean, we covered this back when it was in the hundreds, and I was telling you guys, watch out, be careful. Then we got the catalyst that isn't the nail in the coffin by any means. I mean, I think Peloton could come back over time. Am I going to buy it? No way, Jose. I am not going to buy it. But as of now, they're recalling their Tread Plus, as it's called, right? The treadmill that had a bunch of problems. We've talked about it before. There was a casualty with that treadmill, and the stock was trading at, what, $100? When we learned about the casualty, right, and the danger of the treadmill, the way it was built. But what really caused the stock to tank was the recall news, right? The recall news and how expensive this is going to be. So I guess for the company itself, this earnings pop, it's pretty much the only good news that they've seen recently. And they did EPS of negative 3 cents versus negative 12 estimated, and revenue came in at $1.13 billion versus $1.11 billion. And they're going to revise their guidance, which makes sense with everything going on right now. And look at this head and shoulder. This is clear as day, right? Left head, right shoulder right here. This could end up going down more if that right shoulder completes, maybe down to 68, between $68, $70. And I don't think it's going to go that low. It very well could, but maybe that's a stretch considering in the past couple of weeks alone, literally since the beginning of April, this stock is down almost 40%. So in the past month, down 40%. I mean, how much lower could it go? I'm sure it could go lower, but maybe we see a bit of a relief rally before we go lower. Last stock for this video is Square, ticker symbol SQ. They did adjusted EPS excluding losses from the DoorDash investment of 17 cents versus 16 cents estimated, and revenue came in at $5.06 billion versus $3.33 billion estimated. So a big beat in revenue, and the stock is up $7 after hours, and this thing's been volatile. It closed rather at 223. Earnings came out. It went to 210, back to 233, back down to 222. Now it's up to 230. It's up $6-7. So what I'm looking at here overall, very simple. I want to see if 220, 230, which as of now it looks like it is, but I want to see and make sure this ends up holding as support. It holds the uptrend, and maybe we get some sort of momentum towards the 250s, maybe 260. That's upside of about 12-13% right now. That'd be right around the moving average, the resistance of this wedge. And looking at the hourly chart, this is how we're going to know whether or not Square is breaking out, because as of now, it's still on a downtrend on the hourly chart. But if we start taking out the 50 SMA and the 180 SMA here, right around, let's say 235, that is when we could start turning back around to get to that $250, $255 price target. And we'll see, guys. We'll see. This ended up doing well, just like PayPal after hours yesterday. Both of these spiked up, and we'll see if this gain holds into tomorrow's session. So we'll wrap it up there, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button. Feel free to subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to join the Strive Smart Discord chat. chat, the Facebook group. Those are free. You could also get 2 stocks from WeBull. Those are also free, valued up to $1,600. All you have to do is use my link, deposit $100, and we each get 2 free stocks. You could also get $30 free from M1 Finance by also using my link, depositing $100. And if you all want buy and sell alerts, call outs, morning updates from me every day the market is open. We cover the futures, moving stocks in the morning, my watch list, and so forth. If you guys want that type of content and exclusive access to me, that is on Patreon, link down below as well. Or you can go to patreon.com/DasSurfS. That's patreon.com/DasSurfS. So I'll see you all there. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there. Keep crushing the markets. Peace out, guys.